Hey everybody out there in Hot Rod Land, it's Phil coming to you once again from Carcraft Classics. Today showing off this gorgeous show car, 1954 Oldsmobile 88. But before we get started with that, just want to say for those of you who may be watching one of my videos for the first time, this is Carcraft Classics. We're located at 321 Canton Road, Cumming, Georgia 30040. About a half hour north of Atlanta, about 40 minutes from the airport. Number for the shop is 470-239-4977. My name is Phil, and my cell number is 770-317-1415. Feel free to call or text if you have any questions about this vehicle or anything else we're selling here at the shop. Can also be reached via email at carcraftclassics@gmail.com, and be sure to visit us on the web at carcraftclassics.com. We will have the full ad with this vehicle, pictures of the exterior, interior, undercarriage, everything up within the next 24 hours. And if you're into the old cars and old trucks and neon signs and wheel and tire packages and all that fun stuff, please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Carcraft Classics here on YouTube. All right, I really don't even know where to start on this gorgeous car. I recently got a call from a gentleman who lives here in Georgia who had this car built, I guess we're coming up on 9 years ago. And he asked me to market the vehicle for him. And when I saw it, I couldn't jump on it quick enough. This is easily the best looking car from the 50s we've had here at Carcraft Classics. We've had some beauties, don't get me wrong, but the fit and finish on this car is just heads and shoulders above anything that we've had, and most of those that I've seen. Now, if you watch my videos, you hear me talk about, our cars are kind of that mid-level quality. They're not projects, but they're not $100,000 chip foose type builds. Well, this one is. This car was built by Dixie Dream Rods, which has since gone out of business. Unfortunately, I think the owner passed away in 2017 or 18. But they built this car before they shut the doors, and boy, did they do an absolute knockdown job. The car originally was purchased back in, I think, 2013, maybe 14. The owner, Greg, really great guy, him and his partner decided that they wanted to build something that was different. Not a Tri-5 Chevy like everybody has, and God knows there's nothing wrong with those, but they just wanted to be different, and boy, did they knock it out of the park. So I think they paid $26,000 for the car, for a rust-free car, and then proceeded to take the whole dang thing apart. Just before we get started with all the beautiful details of this vehicle, I want to just say that, in 1954, this was a redesigned car. The Olds 88 was out in the prior years, but this was a year when they redesigned everything. So this car hit the market and took it by storm. They had the Holiday Coupe, they had the 4-door sedan, and this was the 2-door coupe. And of course, you see this one is a hardtop, no post. And it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's just unbelievable. That orange up against that ivory white, just gorgeous. And talking about the paint and body, which I know is everybody's biggest question, I don't think I've ever seen nicer. From the engine bay to the exterior to the roof, every bit of chrome has either been replaced or re-chromed. It's got a new windshield. It's got power windows. The bumper, the grille, the light bezels, the side molding, everything has been redone. All the little badging around the car. And this particular car, has some of the coolest badging I've ever seen. I'll show you that as we go around the car. But again, in 54, this was a new model. And what are some of the things they did different? They extended the wheelbase. They lowered the roof line. And they introduced the Olds Rocket. And it was a beefed up version. I think it was a 301 in 53. And in 54, they raised it to a 324 cubic inch V8. So that was refreshing. All the Oldsmobile fans out there were, I'm sure, very, very excited to see that their engine had gotten bigger and more powerful. I want to say it had 175 horsepower. But when you see what's under the hood of this car, you won't be worried about horsepower. We'll get to that in just a second. Gosh, she is gorgeous. I mean, everything has been redone, down to the windshield wipers, the little stainless steel grille, little cowl screen there. It's unbelievable. All the chrome around the car, the windshield, everything's been redone. It is out of control. I've got all of the information on the build. Look at the door gaps. Look at how well that passenger side door fits in that body. But anyway, I've got all the paperwork on this build. And I think they tallied up all the receipts. And I think with the engine and transmission, they spent $210,000 on this car. Look at the trunk, unbelievably upholstered. Got the Olds 88 hood ornament sewn into the back panel. And behind that panel is a 10-disc CD changer for the stereo, as well as an air pump for the brakes, because as you'll hear in a minute when I fire it up, it's got a pretty decent cam, great sound. And if you've been around hot rods, you know that sometimes when you have the big block and the big cam, that combination can wreak havoc on the brakes because they starve for vacuum. Well, there's an air pump installed here and the brakes work great. That air pump is dedicated to providing vacuum to just the brake system. Here's some of those receipts I told you about. I mean, I've got everything down to everything that they spent going back to even purchasing the car. I've got all those details. I've got this book showing the build, where they took it down to the metal, the entire body. But even more than that, the custom touches. I mean, look at the rear seats. They did bucket seats in the rear with the waterfall style middle console, starting in the back deck tray, running all the way to the front. It's got like a floating effect. I'll show you here as we go around the video. That middle console, they changed the dash. There's the car originally. It was turquoise and white before they took it apart and customized it. They even put a third brake light in. But you can even see as we go up here all the custom touches that they did. Let's see here if I can pull that out. Show you this real quick. Look at the new dash that they put in, which I believe to be a 57 Chevrolet dash. There's that middle console. I'll show you here soon. There's a photo of it. Did like a floating middle console with a floor shifter. So we have plenty of documentation for you hardcore guys out there that like to know all the details about the car. We've got it. We've got all the photos. We've got all the receipts. Got the original owner's manual for the car. We've got a 54 plate in orange to go along with it. Got a little trickle charger. Some other stuff. And we haven't even started on the car yet. This is just the trunk. But again, meticulously upholstered. When they finished this car a few years back, they brought it to the World of Wheels. And any hardcore Southern hot rodders know the World of Wheels is a big show in Atlanta. Of course, they took home a trophy. And at that time, as the story goes, they had some more of that killer badging. They had guys offering them upwards of $150,000 for the car. That's so cool. Look at that. The rocket age, of course. 1954. But anyway, so at the World of Wheels, they got plenty of people offering their money for the car. But these two guys decided to turn it away. First of all, they spent more than the $150,000 they were getting offered. Second of all, they had just finished it. So they didn't really want to sell it just yet. They want to enjoy it. 1954 Oldsmobile 88 hardtop coupe. Look at that thing. Got a nice set of torque thrust, American Racing torque thrust wheels with the spinners. That's a 235 up front, I believe a 235/70 and a 275/60 on the rear. It's got a nice big tire on the back, and the stance is just killer. As you can see, the car's been lowered, but let's get in under the hood. The jewelry box, as I like to call it. So what do we have here? When I tell you they pulled out all the stops, they spent so much money on this car, getting every little detail right. I know you've heard other guys say that before, but this car, it's true. I mean, look at this drivetrain. 572 crate motor, purchased just for this car, had 0 miles on it. So we got the big block. You see the high-rise intake. You see the GM logo right there on the intake manifold. This thing is killer. Now, originally they had Sniper fuel injection on the car, but they just couldn't get it to run right. So they went right back to a brand new carburetor. It's got a Holley under there. I think it's a 750 or 850 CFM. Brand new out of the box. Just installed by a gentleman named Lance. Has a shop not far from here. Runs absolutely great. You see the ceramic coated headers? I think those are Sanderson headers down there. They didn't paint the frame, but the undercarriage is in excellent shape. Look at the paintwork on the firewall, of course painted to match in that orange color. It's a little bright, sorry about that, guys. Here's your little new cowl tag, the VIN number and everything. All the fittings, all the hoses, all the lines, all brand new. Low car transmission dipstick, low car gas pedal, fuel pressure gauge under there, all braided lines. High dollar build here. 572 big block, baby. I think that's a Griffin radiator with dual electric fans. Car absolutely runs excellent. Goes down the road great. You can drive it anywhere, despite the fact that it has the big block. It's tuned right. It's ready to roll. Obviously, you see it's got the pancake AC compressor. It's got vintage heat and air. But they went with the GM compressor to keep it all GM under the hood. The paintwork on the underside of the hood. Inner fenders painted in gloss black to match the core support here. Power steering, power disc brakes up front, dual master cylinder, you can see there, billet master cylinder, chrome booster. Told you already about the AC. Wrote myself a little bit of some notes here, some things that I didn't want to forget to mention to you guys and gals out there. It does have Dakota digital gauges, Griffin radiator, Ford 9-inch rear end, painless wiring harness, the Sanderson headers I mentioned to you. It's got a Hurst Promatic shifter and the vintage heat and air. I mean, the details, if I sat here and told you all of them, I'd put you guys to sleep. I'll try to pump as many of the details as I can get from the paperwork into the ad. So again, be sure to visit carcraftclassics.com. Jump on the inventory page and click on the large photo of this car, and you'll be able to view the full ad with all the details. But I don't want to sit here and read them off to you right now because I might bore you half to death. Look at that gloss black core support, all custom. Every fastener, every screw, every nut, bolt, everything is brand new. All the rubber gaskets. And this car from the factory, before it was all redone, had just a stunning profile. I mean, look, I like Pontiacs, I like Chevrolets, I like Fords, but this baby takes the cake. And for the guy out there or gal that wants to be a little different, but wants to run with the big dogs, this is it right here. I guarantee you the Chevy guys come over and take a look at this thing. It's unique, it's different. It's not every day you see a 54 Oldsmobile, let alone one built to this level. As you saw in those photos, this car was completely taken apart. The bodywork and the paint is impeccable, as I mentioned. It is straight as an arrow, and that's an understatement. And this video, I can tell, is making the paint look a lot lighter than it is. This is not like a creamsicle orange. It's not a light orange as it appears to be in the video. It's more of a darker, rich orange color. I love those little half headlight covers. Makes it look like the car's snoozing over here, but that's just me. Again, all the chrome redone. Anything that was beyond repair was replaced. See, the front end is absolutely gorgeous. Windshield brand new. It's more of those badges, emblems, hood ornament. Super, super cool. This is America from the 50s, baby. This thing is out of control. I'll tell you what, if it's still sitting around when I retire, I might just take this. I don't need an RV. I'll live in this car. We got the shady side over here, but you can see how that orange is definitely darker when the sun's not beating it down. And up against that two-tone ivory, just killer. Again, American Racing 15-inch wheels, wrapped in BFG tires, have hardly any miles on them. Unbelievable. Olds 88. Doesn't have the rocket, Olds rocket in it anymore. As I mentioned, it's got a 572 big block connected to a 4-speed overdrive transmission and a Ford 9-inch rear end. Get pictures of that undercarriage for you here shortly. Look at that thing. Pin straight, all the gaps lined up great, all the molding redone. There's not a flaw in this car. Look at the details just even in the package tray. How they covered it in leather, used like the stainless speaker grills. There's that beginning of that middle console, that waterfall style console I told you about. And we'll get in there soon. I'll show you everything. Top is gorgeous. I love that ivory white. I mean, you could really put that with any color, but up against that orange, tangerine, whatever you want to call it, it really pops. The contrast is just, it's awesome. So again, 572 big block, headers, dual exhaust, power disc brakes up front, power steering, AC, Ford 9-inch with the overdrive transmission. Now we get inside. Looky, looky. More badging, more trim work, more eye candy. Door panels are impeccable. Got those matching speaker grills right there. Nice chrome door handle. That's for the little vent window. Paint in here is just like it is on the outside. An absolute 10. No rust anywhere. I mean, the build hasn't even been done long enough for rust. Get ready to win the show. The workmanship in this car is, it's impeccable. And every little detail, like even that conduit right there, is just so cool. Got your little VIN tag right there. to match the one under the hood. Got your stainless AC vents. And what do we have here? Got a gorgeous Impala steering wheel. All right. Got beautiful custom upholstery in here, even the floor mats. Olds 88 Rocket. Got power leather seats, buckets in the front, buckets in the rear. In that ivory white to match the exterior with the orange trim in here. Got the stainless supports going across the headliner. Just gorgeous in here. There's that floating middle console, a little armrest. Super cool. See, a lot of times with the sun you can't see, but there's your gauge cluster. It's all digital. Fire that up for you. I don't know why on the camera the digital numbers always blink like that, but you'll just have to take my word for it. They are not blinking in real life. And all of these gauges are in working order. So as I said before, it looks like they took a 57 gauge cluster. I'm no expert, but that's what it looks like to me. And customized it to fit in this Oldsmobile. Just gorgeous. It's got what appears to be a vintage stereo with the two knobs and everything, but it is not an old stereo. It is a newer stereo made to look old. It's got the functionality of a newer stereo. I'm not even going to mess with it right now. The engine sounds better to me. And here's that middle console I keep talking about. Got the Hurst Promatic shifter with the digital indicator right there. Super cool. Got the Hurst style shifter ball in the end of the stick there. There's your vintage air controls. And beneath those controls are the power window buttons. This car's even got power windows. The low car gas pedal, brake pedal combo. Got a custom steering column in it with a nice pad so you don't bang up your legs driving the car. Again, this one's a hardtop, so no posts. Look at that chrome, even in here is all meticulous. Just spectacular. Sounds aggressive, but it's no hot rod. It runs, drives, and stops great. I mean, there's no fight with this thing to get it down the road. Steering is tight with the power. Brakes, like I said, they're not hypersensitive, but sort of like a new car. There's no worries about getting this thing to stop. I don't know if it's ever going to pull any wheelies, but that 572 is definitely not underpowered. Love the sound of that cam. Dual exhaust, sounds like Flowmaster exhaust, but we'll get under there and verify it. Hear those electric fans buzzing. caught in traffic. Don't worry about it. You'll be just fine. That cool badge back there as well. She is cool. Look at that car. Look at that car. Sorry, we had some company there for a second, pulling out. Anyway, I hope you love the sound of that engine as much as I do. Exhaust is killer. By the way, about the exhaust, I know it's 3-inch. I think it's 2.5-inch headers. But somewhere along the way, it goes to 3-inch, and it sounds like Flowmaster dual exhaust. As you can see, it's all brand new under there. And as I mentioned, if you're interested in the car and you want to see the undercarriage, just give me about 24 hours. We should have it all taken care of. Pictures underneath, pictures up top, without all the shadows. But I always like to shoot the videos for guys and gals out there that can't get here. It tells a little bit of a different story than the photos, so it's super helpful for everybody that's interested in the vehicle. Okay, so let's get down to the brass tacks. The asking price for this vehicle is going to be, drum roll please, $69,500, which I cannot stress to you enough. If this is the kind of car you're after, a show winner, perfect car that's been gone through from nose to trunk and every fastener, and total nut and bolt, frame off restoration, that's a bargain. They've got receipts for over $210,000. I think they have receipts for $190,000, but they spent $210,000 with the engine and transmission was another $30,000. So between the cost of the vehicle when they first bought it and everything they've done to it, from the exterior to the interior, the drivetrain, the re-chroming, they spent over $200,000 on this car. It absolutely breaks the guy's heart that he's got to come down to that number, but he's looking for a quick sale. So it took some convincing, but that's the asking price, $69,500. We will consider trades, and I can also help with financing. We work with collector car financing, and they can get you approved right over the internet. If you need shipping, we can help with that too. Anywhere in the lower 48, we put this car right in your driveway. And anywhere outside of that, we can help coordinate the shipping. So again, my name is Phil. Just give me a holler if you have any questions. 770-317-1415. Test drives, questions, trades, whatever you want to bounce off me. Again, 770-317-1415. And you can call or text, and I'll be glad to help. Paperwork is clean on the vehicle. Don't worry about title issues or anything like that. I'm a licensed dealer, and I can make sure you can get a title in your state, in your name. All that paperwork does come with the vehicle, and the vintage license plate, the 54 license plate, all the receipts, all the photographs, everything comes with the vehicle. And thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. You guys out there, have a wonderful day. Be safe. God bless America.